Hi everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Gripen Seminar, which this year is presented as a webinar. My name is Ella Molin. I'm head of one of Saab's 6 business areas called Support and Services, and I'm a part of the Saab General Management Team. Saab is a defense and security company. We were founded in 1937 as the Swedish Airplane Limited. Since then, we have developed a unique portfolio with a unique spread and breadth of different products. The Gripen fighters, the A-26 submarines, surveillance aircraft as the Global Eye, and advanced weapon systems such as Carl Gustaf. Before we start the presentation, I would like to address what's on the top of everyone's head currently, the corona situation and how Saab deals with it. We have not seen a crisis on this scale in modern times. Everyone is being affected considerably. The spread of the coronavirus will affect all companies all over the world in different ways and to different extent. Saab is not an exemption. However, the situation changes every day now, and I do not want to speculate how this will affect us and our business. It's simply too early to make statements like that. But what I can say is that Saab is not one of those companies that is feeling immediate consequences because of the situation, given a larger order backlog and the business model that we use. There are other industries that have a more vulnerable position in the current situation. We are doing everything we can to continue to work on development and production. Having said this, we will not further address the corona situation in this seminar. Once again, welcome to the Gripen Seminar. We will have an interesting morning together with 4 different areas with 3 presenters. We will start with the Gripen program and market update with the business unit manager, Eddie Delamotte, for the Gripen EF, Saab Aeronautics. I will continue to talk about the Gripen support solution under the statement, Gripen more than a fighter. Then we will continue and get the presentation for the Swedish Air Force and Gripen E by Colonel Torgny Fälthammar. And we will finalize this session with a Q&A session. And it's possible to start from now to post questions on emails and on our social media. So once again, welcome to an interesting morning. And by that, I will welcome the first presenter, Eddie Delamotte.
Good morning. My name is Eddie Delamotte, and I'm running the Gripen EF business unit. I've been involved in various aircrafts program for quite some time now, since 1986. I've been doing EF now about a year, and before that I was responsible for Saab's part of the TX program, or T7 as it's called nowadays. I have the great opportunity to give you some highlights of the last 12 months since we spoke last, and a very short brief on the market. And bear with me, the market is not my field of expertise, but I'll have a go anyway. Let's take a quick step back and see where we started this journey. We got the Swedish and Brazilian contracts in 2013 and 2014. We flew our first test aircraft in 2017. Since we spoke last, we have added 3 more aircraft into the test program. A year ago, we flew 3 test aircraft. Now we're flying 6 aircraft. We are proceeding according to plan and are delivering according to our customers' expectations. And we're really now accelerating our test program. During this past 12 months, we've passed 100 flight hours and 200 flight hours. And now, most recently, just a couple of weeks ago, we passed 300 flight hours in our test program. In June last year, we flew our latest test aircraft, 39-10. And we're now shifting focus to more testing of the tactical systems and the sensors. Our sensor suite is obviously really, really important, as well as the decision support capability of the aircraft and the flight performance. But I'm happy to say that the sensors we have, the radar, the infrared search and track system, and the electronic warfare system are performing very, very good. We had really high expectations on those systems, but in test they are performing better than expected. Moving into the Swedish part of the program, we flew the first Swedish aircraft in December last year. That was flown by a pilot from FMV, or the Defense Materiel Administration. We've also flown pilots from the Swedish Air Force in the Gripen E. This cooperation that we do together with our customer base is really, really important. It saves time and it gets a lot higher efficiency in the test program, and in the end, it saves all of us money. The coming year, we're going to be delivering the second and the third production aircraft to Sweden, and those aircraft will also join the joint verification and validation program. We're also planning to start activities at the FMV test center, the Defense Materials Administration's test center, later on this year, meaning that we're going to be test flying the Gripen E on 2 places here in Sweden. Moving on into the Brazilian program, we flew the first Brazilian production aircraft in August last year, and we had a fantastic event together with the customer as a rollout ceremony the same month. Currently, we have Brazilian technicians, test engineers, and pilots in Linköping working side by side with our own Saab personnel in the test program. This aircraft that you see is going to be transferred down to Brazil together with that personnel and Saab people to start the Gripen Flight Test Center later on this year down in Brazil. The Gripen Flight Test Center is a very, very important addition to our program. It will have the same capability as we have back in Linköping in terms of test flying the aircraft. So next year we're going to be flying Gripen E's from 3 places in the world, Brazil and 2 places in Sweden. I also would like to mention the Gripen Design and Development Center. Last year we inaugurated the system simulator and rig. That's the only development simulator we have outside Sweden. It's a very, very important tool for us and provides the opportunity for Gripen Design and Development Center to develop both hardware and software. One good example of that capability of the Gripen Design and Development Center is the 2-seater Gripen, the Gripen F. where it's basically a 50-50 split in terms of development between Saab in Sweden and the Gripen Design and Development Center in Brazil. The two-seater Gripen will be an important addition to our product line, not only for Brazil, but also for other customers. The program is running according to plan, and we will be delivering the first aircraft, two-seat aircraft into Brazil in 2023. I just want to show you a short film on the first metal cut event.
And what you can see behind me here is the first part, the first metal cut of the Gripen F two-seater. The part is located within the air duct section.
Este milestone é importante para o projeto Gripen, porque ele demonstra que a fase de desenvolvimento está caminhando adequadamente, dando então início à produção da aeronave Gripen Fox biposto tão esperada pela Força Aérea Brasileira.
O desenvolvimento da aeronave biplace, dentro do projeto de transferência de tecnologia, ela representa muito para a Força Aérea Brasileira. A quantidade de pessoal brasileiro, de técnicos, engenheiros trabalhando no desenvolvimento dessa aeronave é muito maior do que a quantidade de pessoas trabalhando no desenvolvimento da aeronave monoplace.
The next step in the development of Gripen F is for us to maintain the development phase as we have currently, and to make sure that we deliver everything to the assembly start according to the plan and according to the time frame.
In February this year, we had the opportunity to take the Gripen E abroad. We took 2 test aircraft to Finland as part of the Finnish evaluation of HX. What we're offering Finland is a comprehensive offer consisting of Gripen E's, Gripen F's and Global I. But it's also consists of the capability for Finland to do maintenance, repair and overhaul, production of spares, final assembly, and a development and sustainment center to adopt the technology to the changing needs of Finland. As a Swede, we fully understand the importance of national security and the ability to control critical technology. Moving into Canada, we recently formed a team of leading aerospace industry, Canadian aerospace industry, together with Saab. We are offering Canada 88 Gripen E's. It's a great offer that is intended to provide Canada not only with a NATO operable aircraft and aircraft system, but also long-term and high-skilled jobs, as well as a made in Canada solution. And the aircraft and the aircraft systems are built for, with, and by Canadians. Last but not least, I just want to give you a broad overview of our global footprint. We have our existing customer base with Sweden, Brazil, Czech Republic, Hungary, Thailand, and South Africa. But we also see a growing interest, not only in the Gripen E and F, but also on Charlie Delta. We believe we have the right product at the right time with the right offer. Thanks for your time and stay safe out there.
My name is Ellen Molin, and I'm heading the business area support and services. I've been with Saab for 14 years, and out of those, more than 10 years I've been spending in the Gripen project and program management.
Gripen is always ready to participate in any mission, anywhere around the world. Its unprecedented supportability maximizes the time in the air. Gripen's low maintenance requirements result in the highest availability among today's fighters. The fighter can be airborne just after a scramble signal, requiring only an engine start and final automatic startup tests. Gripen users can maintain a high sortie rate and always be ready to respond to any changing threats. Gripen, ready for any mission, anywhere.
Now we have been listening to the Gripen update regarding both the market situation as well as the production, development and test and evaluation status. But not even the best fighter system will stay operative for a very long time without a well-designed support solution, which gives an operational effect and availability. Gripen has a smart and cost-efficient support concept inherent from the aircraft design from the very beginning. Supportability has always been a requirement. This has created a cost-efficient support concept able to provide high availability as well as deployability for any customer. It's scalable, flexible, and modular to any customer requirements. A multi-role fighter needs also a multi-role support. This image visualizes the key elements of the Gripen support concept, and I will move in and focus on 4 of these areas. I will start with the facilities. The demand for various facility requirements come in various shapes for different customers. In December, we delivered with very short lead time a mobile hangar, including containers, to the Hungarian Air Force. They were rebuilding their Gripen Air Force Base, Kecskemét, and they needed a deployable capability during the time of the construction. This was the first delivery of the deployable maintenance system in this complete shape with the complete containers, and we are very happy that we could support the Hungarian Air Force. But why do you need a deployable hangar? Well, the solution offers rapidly deployed capability equivalent to stationary maintenance infrastructure, but at a fraction of the cost. It is a complement to or a substitute to the stationary infrastructure, suitable for domestic or expeditionary operations. And it could be used for as well air as ground vehicles. Our deployable maintenance facility provides enhanced maintenance capacity for a wide range of vehicles and gives your home base maintenance capability when you're deployed. Combined with superior protection against weather and warfare sensors, it allows you to increase the availability and survivability of your high-valued assets. The Barracuda multispectral camouflage is integrated in the solution, and the hangar and maintenance containers are thereby protected by modern warfare sensors. And I will show you a short video how this deployable maintenance hangar works. Then we're moving to the next key element, which is the supply and logistics. In order to help the Gripen customers to maintain an efficient operational effect, we need to make sure to maximize their time in the air. To ensure quick response and shorter turnaround times for our customers, we can establish local and domestic operations to support them in country. This is also always or very common that it's a part of the national doctrine of the different countries. As an example, we have already established the Saab Aeronautica Montañes, SAM in Sao Paulo, which facility you can see at the image. In addition, we are now looking to grow our local footprint with the purpose to strengthen Saab's position in Brazil for a long term. Local support operation will increase Saab's ability to support Brazil with not only the Gripen program, as well as other important technical areas. The next area is maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Our extensive maintenance and repair capability is continuously evolving, and we are always looking for new and smart solutions. Let me give you an example. We are currently developing a concept where we will offer a new container-based solution to support Gripen with battle damage repair during a deployed mission. We have applied new state-of-the-art 3D scan technology, which allows us to reverse engineer and 3D print certain spare parts when no other option is available. If an aircraft is grounded at a forward operating base or similar, this method can solve your immediate issue or problem, and the temporary spare part will allow you to fly back to your home base for maintenance or repair. This is a typical example on how we apply new technology to increase the availability for our customers. Let me now show you a short video that demonstrates this example. Then we will move on to the last but not the least key area that I wanted to highlight during this presentation, and that's training. Training is always a challenge. A lot of pilots and technicians need training, and it's a high required area for well-qualified instructors, which is usually a limited resource. In order to manage this task, it's of utter importance to begin planning well in advance to meet the upcoming needs and training requirements. For this reason, Saab is investing in expanding our training capabilities to meet the current customers as well as coming customers' requirements and needs. Saab has recently entered into a win-win agreement and joint effort together with the Swedish Armed Forces and the Swedish Defence Materiel Administration. The purpose of this agreement is to cooperate regarding existing and coming training needs related to Gripen. The solution will make use of the resources and competence in the best possible way, which will benefit all stakeholders involved. The cooperation has resulted in a new pilot training academy at the Swedish Air Force Wing F7 Såtenäs in Sweden. The premises were inaugurated in February, and during this year we will welcome pilots from, for example, Sweden, Czech Republic, Hungary, as well as Brazil. The training has already started, and it's ongoing as we speak. We are also currently developing and expanding our offer to include both new facilities as well as new technologies. One example is our virtual maintenance trainer tool, which will be used for the upcoming type courses for the Brazilian technician during next year. Thank you for listening, and I will be back during the Q&A session.
Good morning. I am Colonel Torgny Feldhamar. I'm head of the Gripen program in the Swedish Air Force Air Staff. I have a background as a fighter pilot and as an aeronautical engineer. I have been flying the fighter Viggen as well as the Gripen. I've been working within the Air Force with the Gripen program for about 20 years now. I'm very glad to be here this morning, and I've been asked to give you a short brief about the Swedish Air Force and about our plans to introduce the new Gripen Echo version into the Air Force. The Swedish Air Force mission is to defend Sweden, Swedish interests, and our right to live the way that we choose. Our mission is to defend, protect, and monitor the Swedish airspace. We are an air force with a wide range of capabilities. However, we are focused on air defense capability and counter-air operations. Our units are in a high readiness state and are ready to operate at 24/7 capability. The Swedish Air Force is NATO interoperable, and we do train with our partners in order to keep a high capability over time. We also have the task to be able to support the Swedish civil society when needed. Over time, we staff, we equip, recruit, educate, and we train our units in order to be able to perform our tasks at all times. The Swedish Air Force is located at a number of places around Sweden, as depicted in this slide. We have our main air bases in the north, in Luleå, the F-21 wing, in Såtenäs in the west, F-7 wing, in Ronneby in the south, which is F-17 wing, in Linköping, where we have our helicopter wing, and in Uppsala, where we have our Air Combat Center. And we also have our air staff in Uppsala, which was reinstituted as of the 1st of January last year. In this briefing, I will focus on the fighter capabilities. And we do operate 6 fighter squadrons as of today. And as you can see in the slide, 2 squadrons are situated in Luleå at F-21, 2 squadrons at F-7 in Såtenäs, and 2 squadrons in Ronneby. And we also have an operational test and evaluation team in Linköping. Apart from this, we have command and control structures and resources around the country, as well as ground-based sensors spread out across the country. And we also make use of dispersed air bases, which are not in the slide, but they are also located around the country. The Swedish Air Force of today consists of roughly 3,600 military personnel, 1,400 civilian personnel, and we have around 500 to 600 conscripts at any time. We operate a wide range of air systems and ground systems. The next 10 years, we are facing a modernization program where we will phase out a number of aircraft, and we have phased in a number of aircraft. Examples are the C-130 Tactical Air Transport System, which will be operated for a number of years, and then we need to exchange that. We are also planning to modernize our training, and I will come back to that in a little while. We fly the SK-60 or Saab 105 for a number of years, and then we trade that for a new system. And in the recent past, we have introduced, for example, the NH-90 helicopter system and the Black Hawk UH-60 system into the Air Force. And right now, of course, we are planning to introduce the new and modern Gripen Echo to the Swedish Air Force, and this I will come back to as well. We operate in a domain where the time to react sometimes is very short. The aircraft and the weapon systems that we face have a very high velocity and can move over very vast distances. This means that we are facing both modernized and new systems that are being introduced into the vicinity of Sweden today and will keep on being introduced over the next 10 or 15 years. And this changing environment is something that we need to react to and adapt to. But we also see a shift towards new and modern capabilities, such as, for instance, cyber threats. And we need to be able to face that as well. To be able to do our task over time, we have to defend the Swedish territorial integrity. And to do that, we have air policing assets in readiness at all times. The main assets to be able to do this task over time are the command and control capabilities, the ground sensors, the airborne sensors such as the airborne early warning and control systems that we operate, our SIGINT assets, and of course the fighter system and the fighter squadrons. Air power is a prerequisite for all military capability. You need to be able to control your own airspace to be able to defend the country as a whole. The air domain has become ever more digital and an information arena, as well as a kinetic arena. The Swedish Air Force was very early in adapting new technology, and already in the 60s we took our first steps in introducing data links. We also saw that introducing this type of technology means that we have to continually update our tactics. But we also saw the need to develop a modern integrated air defense system. And in the middle of this slide, there's actually a very old picture showing the way that system was set up. Today, we have a very modern version of this, of course. And we are always studying the development in the vicinity and finding the best way to adapt to this. Because if we have to, since we have to adapt and contend against complex modern systems, we have to strive for the best balance, giving our prerequisites. We are not a country that can strive for the superior numbers, having the largest force. But what we do is that we strive for the best balance between technology, competence and tactics, and of course having the relevant numbers of forces. We believe that the right mix is what we have found in the Gripen system, both the existing Charlie Delta and the Echo version, which is designed for future needs. And to be able to look into that ball and trying to figure out what's going on for the future, we also have a development strategy that means that we develop our systems and our tactics over time. The Gripen Charlie Delta is a smart fighter. It's a robust and capable fighter. But we are planning to introduce the new Gripen Echo system very soon, and this is an even smarter system designed for future needs. As you can see in the slide, the plan is to have the first Gripen Echoes in the Swedish Air Force operation by 2023. However, as we have heard from Eddie Delamotte, we are already, as an Air Force, part of the Joint Tests and Evaluation Program since early this year, which means that we take part in the test and verification activities in Linköping together with Saab and with the Defense Material Administration. So we are facing an introduction where we will do operational evaluation and set down the syllabus for introduction of the new complex and modern system into our units. However, we also need to keep our training of new pilots and technicians and other key personnel over time. We cannot let that come to a halt. And of course, we need to solve our task and have a high readiness through this transition. And all of this together means that the Charlie Delta is planned to keep operating in the Swedish Air Force for a number of years into the 2030s, as we plan today. The Gripen E is designed for the future needs, and we are looking into the right balance between the Charlie Deltas and the Echoes for the future. The Gripen E is very important for us to be able to face the developments in our vicinity, as I've been talking about, and especially introducing very modern, high-tech, state-of-the-art systems such as the sensor suite, and also such as a state-of-the-art electronic warfare system, means that the Gripen Echo will have an edge in the future air domain and threat against those threat systems. But being a small country, we always have to think about money and affordability. And that's a very big requirement on these Gripen systems, both the Charlie Delta and the Echo systems, affordability. That's part of the equation for us. Finally, I'd like to say a few words about training. Being able to train our own personnel, and especially pilots, is part of our core business. In the 1960s, we introduced the Saab 105 or SK60 system into our training concept. And in 1986, we started to use this trainer aircraft, both for basic training and for advanced tactical training. We are now planning to keep using the SK60 for about 5 years, but we are introducing a basic trainer aircraft, a propeller aircraft, to take care of the basic training needs, to combine with the SK60 for tactical training. At the same time, we are looking at a gap filler solution where the SK60 as an advanced trainer, tactical trainer, will be changed into the using the Charlie Delta version. And for the long term, we are looking at introducing a new advanced trainer aircraft into the Air Force, which means that we will have 2 systems in the future for training our pilots, basic training and tactical training. And making sure that this transition can be done in a balanced way together with the introduction of Gripen Echo is at the focus of our planning today. And that concludes my briefing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel. We're grateful that you took your time to participate in our Gripen seminar. Dear audience, my name is Ann Wolgers. I am the Saab press officer. I will be your host today for the Q&A session. I would like to welcome Eddie and Ellen back on stage again. Please join us. We have received a lot of questions from our audience online to all 3 of you. I would urge you to pose even more questions online. Please use the form on our website. But we will start with a couple of questions for you, Colonel, that we have received from... the first one is from Linus in Stockholm. He wonders whether we will see the Gripen E in the new grey camo colors for the Swedish Air Force anytime soon.
That is actually information that I'm privy and that I'm not ready to give out today, but keep posted and we will have a decision very soon, I'd say.
So we will see it in the news?
Well, in one way or other, we will communicate when we have the decision, yes.
All right, Linus, I hope you're happy with that answer. We will move on. We have received a lot of questions from you, Colonel. Here's one from Jens in Stockholm. He says that the Swedish Armed Forces has a lot of partnerships, but Sweden is not a NATO member. How does that work?
Well, it's simple, I'd say. We have a political solution to our security needs, and that means that we are non-aligned and that we are a partner to NATO. And we also have a number of bilateral partnerships with other countries. And through our training with these partners, we solve our tasks. That's the way we do business.
That's the way you do business.
Yeah.
Can you mention a few bilateral cooperations?
Well, of course, I'd just like to highlight, of course, Finland. Finland and Sweden has a very close and a long cooperation, and it's a very important cooperation for us. We also have deep cooperations regarding the Gripen in something we call the Gripen Users Group, where, for instance, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Thailand and even Brazil now is part of that cooperation. That's also a very important cooperation for us.
Thank you, Colonel. We have received a few questions regarding Gripen EF to Brazil, and I start with you, Eddie. Here is a question from the UK. What will be the role of the Gripen F?
Well, the Gripen F is the two-seat Gripen, and it's designed obviously to have two crew members aboard. You can fly the aircraft from either the front or the back seat, and many people believe that the two-seat Gripen is primarily developed for training, which is not necessarily the case. It is designed to be a versatile tool in terms of more complex missions.
So you can use it for warfare as well?
Yes, you can have a mission commander, for instance, in the back seat, or you can have a electronic warfare officer, or you could also have a weapons system officer in the back. But it could also be used in as part of a conversion training.
How many Gripen E and Gripen F aircraft did Brazil order?
Let's see, I believe it's 28 in total, 20 single-seat and 8 two-seat, I believe.
Right. And the wide area display, is that on both the back and the front seat, so to say?
Yes, it's the same cockpit both in front and in the back. The aircraft is basically the same as the single seat, except that we don't have a built-in gun in the two-seat aircraft.
All right. All right. So when will she arrive in Brazil, the Gripen E F?
Okay, so the first Gripen E goes into Brazil, as I said in my speech, this year, and the two-seat Gripen will be delivered 2023.
We continue to receive a lot of questions regarding Brazil. Ellen, this is a question for you. When will you start the first Brazilian pilot and technician training?
Well, the pilot and technicians training has already started when it comes to the test and evaluation cooperation. So we already have pilots and technicians in Linköping cooperating with the test evaluation department at Saab Aeronautics. But when it comes to the operational part of the support contract, we will start the pilot training later this year and also the technician training later this year and mainly next year.
Mainly next year. When we continue to receive a few questions about the new pilot training in Såtenäs that both you, Colonel, and Ellen, you talked about. Can you say something about this cooperation that we have? If we start with you,
Colonel, please.
Colonel.
Absolutely. As I've been trying to demonstrate in my presentation, we have a number of things to take care of now in our plan, both introducing new systems and as well keeping up readiness and keeping up our ability to train our own personnel. And to be able to support export countries with training as well, this is a very big leap forward for us, I'd say, because what we do, we are utilizing our resources in Sweden, our competence in the fighter arena, and our material and other assets in a very good way. So I'd say this is just the right thing for us to do, and I'm very glad that we have come to this agreement now, actually.
Ellen, do you agree?
Absolutely. I think this is one of the key elements to be able to continue to work with export. We know that training is a key element when it comes to cooperating with customers. And I think the cooperation we have now reached is a very good symbol of the cooperation and the strong links between the Swedish Armed Forces and the Swedish Defence and Material Administration, as well as the industry in country. So this is a really important step, and also important to build strength in the position and the mission we have within Sweden as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Before we continue into other questions, I know that Eddie, you would want to
yeah, let me
say
correct
a few
my
words.
mistake. It's 36 aircraft into Brazil, nothing else, and it's 28 single seat and 8 two-seat.
8 two-seaters. We got that right now. The questions are coming in. Here is a question from Finland, from Pentti Pertula from Sivet Wings. This is a question, I guess, for both Ellen and Eddie. Eddie, if you can start. The first Swedish Gripen E seems to lack the IRST sensor.
Okay.
Why is that?
Well, the first, I suppose...
Can you please just describe for us how can you see that and what is it?
Well, it's a kind of sphere that you have just in front of your cockpit.
Yeah.
That's the spherical sensor of the infrared search and track. It's basically a passive optical radar. And the Swedish Gripen E obviously has the infrared search and track system. On the first flight, which is the picture that we have released, is from the first flight. We didn't have that spherical sensor in that specific flight, but it will be on the Gripen E's delivered to Sweden. And it's also part of our typical test missions.
All right. Is there something you want to add, Ellen?
No.
No. All right. You said that, Eddie, that we just now made the first metal cut of the Gripen F, the two-seater, to Brazil. And we have received some questions from Tony Osborne from Aviation Week. He wonders first, was it done in Sweden or in Brazil?
It was done in Sweden, in Linköping.
In Linköping.
Yes.
And can you give us some more details? Which part of the aircraft was it?
It's part of the forward part of the aircraft. It's a sub-assembly for one of the air intakes. It's a machined article, as you saw on the short movie.
All right. And this is an important milestone in the program to do the first metal cut.
Yes. Basically what that means is that we've done with the detailed design, and we can actually start producing real hardware. It's a very important milestone in the program.
All right. I will continue with some questions from our Finnish friends. the first question is, why should Finland buy Gripen? I will give that question to you, Eddie, first, and then to Ellen.
Well, Gripen is a aircraft designed specifically for the Swedish Gripen. It's designed for Sweden.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sweden and Finland are neighbors. We share the same kind of threat environment. We share the same kind of environment in terms of cold weather. We also have a very strong feeling for independence and taking care of ourselves, the security of supply. What we can do for Finland is not only a very competitive product and a complete package with Gripen E's, 2-seater Gripen F, Global Eye, but also this ability for Finland to continue their own development of the Gripen aircraft, taking care of their own maintenance, repair and overhaul. And I'm sure you can talk more about that. But also produce spare parts and have their own design and development center where they can tune the capabilities of Gripen E and F to suit the Finnish requirement.
Eddie. Ellen?
When I was talking about the support concept, one of the major things when we design the support concept for every country is, of course, to look at the national doctrine, as I was also mentioning. And having that ability with a support solution for Gripen, both when it comes to the flexibility, the scalability, and the modularity, and that it can be tailored to the customer requirements. And as you mentioned, Eddie, when it comes to the security of supply, we have a weapon system or a support concept with Gripen which perfectly fit, I would say, the Finnish requirements. So it's also the supportability when it's designed for the road-based concept, just to mention one of the things which is similar to Finland, which requires very little support when you're out on the road base or out on the deployment or expeditionary operations. So I would definitely say it's they should buy it because of that support concept in combination with supportability, deployability, and affordability.
All right. And Colonel, as an operator, would you say that Gripen would suit Finnish needs?
I'd say that's not a question for me to answer, actually. The decision is, of course, completely for the Finns to make. We highly value the deep cooperation that we have today in many areas, and that's important for us. And it's also important that the Finnish Air Force can make their decision independently. Should they choose to buy the Gripen, we see further possibilities in deepening our cooperation, of course, but we are waiting to see what choice they are making.
Thank you. Because I actually received a question from Ossi in Finland, in Helsinki, and he wonders about dispersed bases. That is when you're taking off and landing on ordinary roads. Is that a concept of the Swedish Air Force today and for the future? You talked earlier about the 3 air bases that we have in Sweden. But you can also operate from ordinary roads.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And using dispersed bases in order to conduct our business is an old concept in Sweden. In order to be able to spread our assets and to have a high survivability. This is a concept that we developed many years ago during the Cold War era. However, it's very suitable for us today and for the future, so it's part of our tactics today as well. And we do train this on our units today, and we see that we will deepen and expand our dispersion capabilities. And it's actually highlighted in the Defense Commission white paper as of May last year. So in the plans for the future, we will invest in dispersed air bases. And I can also exemplify that in our cooperation with Finland, we have actually done landing and starting and operating from Finnish air base as well, road base.
All right.
So this is part of our modus operandi, as we military sometimes call it.
But what are the requirements of the roads, length, broad, etc.?
Well, there are different sizes, but in the Swedish concept of today, the shorter version, so to speak, of the road bases are 800 meters, which is very short, and that's the requirement that we strive to keep, so to speak, for the future as well.
Thank you. Now, here's a super short question, but it could be tricky for you, Eddie. From Susan from Linköping. How long is Gripen?
It's 15.2 meters long.
Okay, and the wingspan?
Well, let me check on that. If I'm going to guess, I will guess wrong.
Ellen? But is Eddie correct when it comes to the how long Gripen is?
I wouldn't question him on that.
Well, the wingspan, I would guess maybe 8.6 maybe.
Okay.
Could
Sounds
be
good.
that.
Sounds reasonable. The two-seater is about 2 decimeters longer. than the
Only 20 centimeters longer.
Yeah. Ish.
Thank you. Now I need to take a few questions from Osamu Takechumi, and he has a few questions for you, Ellen, regarding 3D printing. First, if you are 3D printing spare parts, can they actually stand the forces that they are being exposed to when flying a fighter aircraft?
What we are developing, as I said, was for a battle damage repair. And the intention of that is not to last for a full lifetime as a normal component or normal aircraft spare. Though what we are testing and evaluating, we are in evaluation process, is of course how this will work. The intention is to get it for maybe 50 flight hours or something, but as much as you need to get back to your home base.
All right.
At this stage, I would say. Of course, in the future, I think the technique and the methods and the processes will evolve, so it can be possible to have even longer time span.
So, for example, would the Swedish Air Force be able to carry a 3D printer with them on their dispersed base and 3D print a spare part, put into the aircraft and fly again?
Absolutely.
Back to her home base.
This is a container-based solution. So you will have a container and you will bring what you need, for example, a 3D printer and a scanner or the equipment you need, and you will 3D print and you will mount it on the aircraft, and then you will have the possibility to fly back to the home base. So it will be used during the fields or the mission during the operation.
He also wonders whether the 3D printed parts are already used in Gripen in air forces in Sweden or elsewhere. Are they already in service, so to say, in use?
From our point of view, we are in an evaluation phase.
All right.
Yes.
So we've tried 3D parts in research areas, and we've tried them on some test aircrafts in non-critical applications, but we don't have them on the production aircrafts.
Now, here's a question from Martin from Sweden. And I would give this question to all the three of you. Do you see a wider market for Gripen F other than Brazil and now the Saab's offer to Finland?
Well, I can start. I believe the answer is undoubtedly yes. We see Gripen F as a great complement to the Gripen E. And depending on the customer, how the customer want to operate the system, they need fewer, none, or more two-seater aircraft. So I believe that the two-seat aircraft is a great addition for not only for Brazil, but for other customers as well.
Ellen?
I definitely agree. It's a good addition or complement to the single seat version, so absolutely.
And is there something you would like to comment, Colonel?
Well, the question was about the market, and that's
Yeah.
really not my questions to take. But we have made an evaluation for our procurement, and we, as you know, we have procured 60, only the Eco version, the one seat, and for the moment that's an evaluation that we feel confident with for now, so to speak. But we are always following what's going on the market, what our partners do and think, and what can be done at the industry level as well. But as of now, we are not planning to introduce the Foxtrot version into the Swedish Air Force.
Thank you. We will move on to the Czech Republic. We have received a question from Lucas from Aeromedia. Lucas wonders whether you can mention some new weapon systems that are tested on the Gripen. Eddie?
Well, I can talk about some known weapon systems like the Iris T within visual range missile, and also the highly capable long-range beyond visual range missile Meteor, and the Saab RBS-15. And we're also testing some pods. I talked about the electronic attack jammer pod, which is a standoff pod that can be used as a complement to the internal active electronic warfare system in the Gripen E and F. And we're also flying and testing a wide variety of new weapons that I unfortunately can't talk about because of customer classification and so forth.
Of course, of course. You want to add something, Ellen?
No.
Torgny, no. Here's another question from Jamie Hunter from Combat Aircraft. Thank you for watching. He has a question for you, Colonel. Which is the first wing that will receive the Gripen E?
We are actually doing an evaluation of our plans right now, and as I talked about with the painting of the aircraft, I'm not ready to give out that information right now. But we need to have that evaluation set down into decision pretty soon during this year to be able to roll the plan as we see it right now. But as of today, I cannot give out that information.
And when is it planned that the Gripen E will be operational?
Well, as I tried to show you in my briefing, we are starting to operate the Gripen in in our own operation, so to speak, by 2023. And then we are doing the introduction during a number of years. First, we focus on operational evaluation, setting down the syllabus, and then we move on to and this will be done primarily in Linköping in 2023, and then we will be moving on to spread the resources to the first squadron, to the first flotilla, and balancing the time frame, so to speak, so that we do not have problems with our training of pilots or with our readiness. So from 2023, there will be a continuous introduction program during the years to come.
Thank you. We have received a question from Tim Robinson from Aerospace Magazine. Tim has a question regarding the FCAS program, the Future Air Combat System, that Sweden has a cooperation with the UK about. And his question is, what technology or design philosophy from Gripen E might make its way to the UK-Sweden-Italian Tempest program?
Well, it's a hard question to answer because obviously it's going to be a cooperation. So for me to decide what's going to go in or not is kind of beyond the point. But I think we can definitely contribute in terms of the high technology we have, our ability to build very compact, affordable systems. The single engine applications, the high level of integration, the speed we can develop things that we showed, for instance, on T7 or TX. We have a wide variety of capabilities where I believe Saab and Sweden can contribute in something like that.
And when it comes to your parts of the Gripen, is there anything that you can see coming from your side into the FCAS program? I think we're in a very early stage. Yeah. It's discussions ongoing, so it's too early to say. But I think, as Eddie was mentioning, it's a lot of things regarding the Gripen concept, also when it comes to support that we can contribute with. Thank you. We will continue with a question from the bulletin from Dennis Leblanc, and the question is regarding TX and the SK60. You see, when Saab and Boeing together won the contract last year, providing the US Air Force with a new trainer, that was widely reported in Swedish media and media all over the world. So the interest is big for the TX trainer. His question is, will the Swedish Air Force buy the TX to replace the SK60? I guess you anticipated that question.
Well, yes, kind of. As I said in my presentation, right now we are focusing on taking the first steps in introducing a new training concept. And again, that means that we are procuring basic training aircraft and combining that in a number of years with training. The advanced trainer will be in the first step using the Charlie Delta. Introducing a new advanced trainer aircraft where the T7 may be one contender, of course, it's a very high capable trainer aircraft. It's too early for us because we are now focusing on the first steps on this transition. And I'd say there will be a number of years before we have to do that evaluation and make that decision. But we're following what's going on. We think it's a big success for Sweden, and we think it's a very interesting concept, of course, the T7. So it's up there on the agenda, but not for right now, so to speak. Right. I don't have an answer yet.
Thank you, thank you. Time is running short. We will only have time for 2 more questions. So we will start with another question from Nandan Prabhu, and this question is for you, Colonel. Does the Swedish Air Force use flight simulator training for new Gripen pilots?
Absolutely. That's an integrated part of our training concept, of course. Moving from any trainer aircraft actually into a high-performance, advanced and complex system fighter such as the Gripen is a big step for young pilots. And utilizing simulator has always been part of that for many, many years now. So the answer is absolutely yes, and it will be a very important tool when we introduce the Echo as well, of course. And also using tools like simulators for the technical personnel as well is very important to give the best result and the highest competence.
Thank you. We will finish off with one question from Henrik in Stockholm, and I am directing this very last question to all the 3 of you, and the question goes, what is the most important improvement of Gripen E over Gripen C from your different perspectives? So if I start with Eddie.
Well, first of all, the aircraft is a little bit bigger. It can carry a lot more weapons, and it has a longer range. That's obviously important. The biggest difference is in terms of the avionics and the capability of the complete aircraft. It's a new sensor suite. I talked a little bit about the colonel talked about it as well. It's a new AESA, active electronic scanning array. We have an infrared search and track. We have a completely new electronic warfare system. And that's great in itself, but the real greatness is in the way this is integrated and the decision support that supports the pilot in making great decisions.
Thank you. Would you like to add something, Ellen?
Well, when it comes to the support, of course, it's following how the weapon system designed, but it's also a completely new support concept when it comes, for example, technical publications, where you have a much, thanks to the development procedure with a model-based design, it's also possible to have very short lead time when it comes to changes, which, of course, increases the availability and operational effect. That's one of the examples.
So it makes it easier for the operator.
Easier, and also we can do changes faster. And also when it comes to the design of the support concept, it's another flight hour maintenance. So it's other maintenance intervals which will also improve the availability of the aircraft. So absolutely a lot of this is just two examples of the enhancements that we have done. But it's a new and more a modern support concept as well.
And the Gripen E aircraft can also carry more fuel, can fly longer.
Yes.
Of course. And Colonel, from your perspective.
Well, actually, I'd say that all the aspects that you have raised are very important for us. But the sum of what you have said makes us as operators, gives us the edge for the future, because this means that we lift the system in a balanced way. And what you said at the end, we're doing that in a very affordable way. We cannot strive for the superior numbers, so we have to be very good at balancing the technology, the tactics, and the way we sustain the system. And being able to be agile, which means that when we see something happening, we need to be able to do this in development with lower costs. And that's really something that we have built into this design. And that's important from my perspective.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I will allow a very last question, because we have a young audience online, the young pilots. Pilots wannabe. They ask a question. They say, "I love Gripen. Can you please share your favorite Gripen moment with us?" Do you have a favorite Gripen moment?
Yes, many.
Yes, many. Do you want to start, Eddie?
Well, it's a long time ago. It's probably when we flew the first two-seater, what's called the 39B in the Swedish Air Force. That was a great moment. I was very much involved in negotiating South Africa. And actually, a couple of years later, to see the first South African Gripen fly almost brought tears to my eyes.
That's a beautiful Gripen memory. And Ellen?
Yeah, I have many, as Eddie says, favorite Gripen moments. But I think one which I think touches me quite a lot was the first flight of the Gripen E. And it was a call in Linköping that now we're going to have the first flight of the Gripen E. And all our employees and co-workers were moving out to the hill to watch the first flight. And all these engineers who had spent hours and hours, years and years, committed to perform and to deliver the best aircraft, they were crying when the Gripen E took off. And I think for me, it's very symbolic how committed Saab is and our employees are for the Gripen.
That's a nice memory. I remember that. And Colonel, would you like to share your memories?
Yes, I also have a lot of memories being part of this for many years now. And I'm not one of the young pilots, I'm one of the old. But even though I have many good memories from the program perspective, I'd have to say that it's from the pilot perspective. And so I'm thinking, should I mention the first flight or the last flight. I think I'll mention the last flight, which was last week actually, and I had the opportunity to sit in the back seat of the Delta version and be part of training of our young student pilots at the F7 wing, and doing 2-against-1 air combat, which is something else. It's absolutely fantastic. So the last memory was from last Tuesday, and that's what I would like to highlight. It's a great feeling to fly this fantastic aircraft. It is.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you so much. Well, I can say that my best memory is yet to come. I hope so. But I share your story, Ellen. I was one of the employees standing on the hill watching the first flight of the Gripen E. Thank you very much for watching. We will come back in a year from now with the 8th Gripen Seminar. But this is everything that we can give you today. So please follow us online on our Facebook, Insta, Twitter and LinkedIn accounts. Take care. Bye-bye.